Hold on, guys. Let me turn this off. We're back here. Hey, guys. So, we're going to have a little bit of a sticky system this morning because I don't have the type of internet that I have at my house, so we're just going to have to make do. But I did get the equipment set up so we could discuss a few things. I don't know if I'm coming in clear. I don't know if my lips are syncing right. I don't know how our latency is doing. So you might just have to listen to this if we're not producing good, out. I might have to reduce the resolution maybe to 720 tomorrow instead of trying to run 820 or 1080p. So if you guys can hear me, let me know. There might be some echoing. If you hear echoing, let me know immediately so we can get that resolved. I am running on our 2-screen system, and we are going to try to go over some information. Now, I understand that there are going to be some things that you guys do not want to talk about because right now we're having a fight with our politicians. We want law and order to be number one key for everything we're doing. We're sick and tired of covering these cases. We want our politicians to do what's right for the American citizens, predominantly for our children, our elderly, and our sick. Right? Those are the most disadvantaged already, and they're prime for abuse and or death at greater risk than, say, somebody like me and you. And so we want to see our government start making these changes, but we need to hear about where they started from. Oh, thank you, Robin. Good morning. Let's see if we can get these up here. Yes, it's working. So far, we're working well. Okay, so far we're working well. Thank you. Good morning, beautiful Betty. Mods, coffee beans. I hope Mama Bullhorn is feeling good. She's doing better. She's starting to feel her pain. So right now we're just trying to keep her comfortable. The first night she didn't, she did get some sleep. Like this morning, she was up at 5 a.m. She was not doing too well. She was doing okay, but she's up that time of morning. She's obviously in pain. So we've been just trying to make her comfortable. She's kind of laying in bed. She watches these, oh, good gracious. The crap puts me to sleep. These stories that have monotone voices behind them. She likes the old-fashioned, radio story book stuff. My mom's a little weird, okay? I'm not going to lie. I'm in there, I'm like, I said, I can't sit here for an hour listening to a story where somebody's coloring a coloring book, okay? I think we're going to be down one helper here if I have to listen to any more of this. But God bless my mom, right? So she's doing great. Her area, I haven't seen a whole lot of bruising. Like when she had her knees done, her whole leg and butt cheek was black and blue from the tourniquet. And so I didn't know what to expect. I mean, she's starting to really feel the pain, and then she's going to really feel the pain tomorrow because tomorrow we got to start exercises. She's got to be back for post-op appointment on September 15th, and we got to have her loosened up before she goes back. So, anyways, we're wondering, why is our crime getting out of control? I mean, I don't know if that's what you're thinking, but that's what I'm thinking. But I run a show that's a true crime show. And one of the reasons why I run this true crime show is because I want to expose animals. I want those animals locked up. I want our people to be safe here. We have all walks of life in America. And I want all walks of life in America to be able to walk down the street without having to worry about it. Or be able to walk out of their house in the middle of the night and not have to worry about it, right? That's what I want across America. That's what I hope happens in Chicago, Detroit, all these big cities that are filtered with a lot of crime, that people can't even walk down the street without worrying if they're going to lose their life. I want to end that. But I also want to know, how in the world did it get this bad? And maybe I'm a little biased, but that's okay. That's okay, because I don't like the bullshit. Now, I will tell you, you guys may not appreciate how I think. Maybe some of you do, maybe some of you don't. But I want you guys to hear where all of this started coming from, just in D.C. This is just D.C. This is D.C. where everybody's complaining, moaning, and groaning and saying, the president overstepped his authority, but now we're having amazing results at D.C. But we want to know how D.C. got so bad. I'm going to show you. Because some of you guys didn't even realize you were voting for this stuff. Okay? You didn't even realize you were voting for this stuff. But I want you to hear. Is this okay with you?
And what the DC bill does, it reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion burglaries, armed carjackings, as I mentioned, armed robberies, unlawful gun possession, and some sexual assault offenses. I did talk to the team, and we have a couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what.
So in DC, they actively worked to make sure that they reduced the crime for homicides, rapes, sexual assaults, and other things. And we're going to say it just like that because, again, I really don't care about YouTube or YouTube's algorithm or whether they're going to give me advertisement because I say something like that. This is the reality. This is what our politicians put on the backs of the American people. You want to know why it was so lawless in D.C.? Because of the Biden administration. And if that pisses you off and you think that this is some kind of bias, well, this is his person there. How did you guys fall asleep at the wheel and allow this to happen? So before you come stepping, I just want to make sure that everybody's very clear on why we got here. Because many of us are saying hell to the na with murder, with all this other stuff, and we have an entire regime reducing the penalties for crimes that keep me and you dead. So if it upsets you that I'm playing this, maybe you should open your eyes and ears and see what you're voting for. And if that's offensive, there's always an exit button, there's always a block button, and you never have to see Bullhorn Betty's face again.
The DC bill does, it reduces maximum penalties for offenses like murders and other homicides, armed home invasion burglaries, armed carjackings, as I mentioned, armed robberies, unlawful gun possession, and some sexual assault offenses. I did talk to the team, and we have a couple of things that I just want to lay out for all of you and on what the DC bill does. It reduces maximum penalties.
I think we don't need to. I'm not going to keep repeating that, but I just want you guys to hear. We're here for law and order. We're here because of these atrocities, murders. We want tougher laws for the violent criminals in our country. And we have had an entire presidency that reduced penalties, that put us as prey and victims to their bullshit. And people are still supporting this. Meanwhile, we have been screaming from the rooftops. The people in the state of Florida are getting it. They're working with the U.S. Marshals to bring children home. But you know what? The U.S. Marshals do this. They have a task force to find children. And I want to remind you, because all of this is going into the show and leading right back to Sebastian Rogers. Because not only is Donald Trump and people paying attention that these kids need our attention. If you guys remember, I went to CPAC and started handing out. Parents are like, it was a shocking flyer I handed to politicians, and I went and handed it all over to the politicians, and their shock on their face looked shocked because they weren't getting it yet. They were worried about spy balloons and Russia having, missiles or whatever, the submarines off the state of Florida at the time. So nobody was taking this stuff seriously. And then we're in Tennessee. We're fighting for Summer Wells. We're fighting for Sebastian Rogers. And then we realized that we've got we got an election coming up in 2026. And so we're looking at Bill Lee. We're looking at Marsha Blackburn. Marsha's now putting her hat in for governor. And we're hearing them talk about farmland. And I'm sick and tired of them talking about stinking farmland because they have real problems in the state of Tennessee that nobody is willing to address. We've got children that are missing that nobody is finding. We've got a bunch of horse shit coming out of law enforcement in that state that is not answering or moving the needle one iota to find these children. Meanwhile, everybody else around this country is tap dancing around Tennessee, getting things done. And President Trump understands that there is a need to focus on this. Everybody's been complaining about, the stuff going on in Washington, D.C. Well, guess what? Not only is he bringing down crime, he found five missing children. Five missing children in all of that. Now, if we could do this all over the country, we can bring our babies home. Do you guys understand that? We can bring our babies home and we can find out what the heck happened to them. And I don't care about your whether you like this man or don't like this man. If he's doing the right by what we need here on this channel and what we need in true crime, we need to be supporting that. We don't have to support the other stuff, but we can support that mission. And I want you guys to hear this because this is going to be directly related to what we are doing. Thank you, Robin. Robin gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty memberships, please don't forget to tell Robin thank you. Miss Robin, thank you so much. And for the beautiful people, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. I know I can't scream very loud. I'm at Mom's, right? And Mom's kind of resting. So thank you for that. And I think I missed one. I think I missed Melanie. There she is. Oh, good gracious, love bug. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much for your love and support. Happy Saturday, Betty, Delilah Mods, and chat. Much love to you all. Quick healing for Mama Bullhorn. Thank you. She's doing well, but like I said, she's becoming an unruly patient of the ward. Okay, she really is. And I was up this morning and I'm like, she's like, oh, I did this and I did that. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I got her ice pack working for her. So she's got to do the ice. We got her medication. She's done with the Percocet. She said it makes her too itchy, which that's why I don't ever, even when they prescribe them to me, I will not. If they prescribe me any of that, I don't even fill it up. It just, ick. So she's I think she's gonna she's off that. So I think she's just gonna be doing some more ibuprofen, Aleve, and stuff like that, and maybe something to help her sleep a little bit at night. But that's about it. So here we go. I want you guys to hear this because I think you guys should. It's important and it has a lot of good information that we're going to break down. Hopefully everything is working. Can you guys let me know very quickly how's everything coming in so far this morning? Oh, thank you, the Resin Mama. It's nice to see you. Thank you for speaking the truth. Even if I'm in the UK, well, we're here to save you too, right? We're trying to save you guys too. We see what kind of crap's going on for you guys. And one way or another, this ain't just America. We're trying to save the world. So God, God bless you. But we're not forgetting about you guys. I can promise you that. The crap I'm watching, it's sad. You are loud and clear. Image is good. Awesome. Thank you. I love this. Hey, who knows? Mom might be the next content creator. She got content creator service here. Let's see what we got.
In D.C. already producing results. We've been telling you about all of those. The president posting the numbers on Truth Social moments ago. In just under a month, the city has seen nearly 1,700 arrests, including more than 700 criminal alien arrests. And they've also recovered 5 missing children.
Wow.
Let's bring in Cathy Serraltes, director of the U.S. Marshals Service. I am a big fan of the Marshals, and if anyone out there is looking to go into law enforcement, I think they should join.
This is what is so angry and why we're here. It's not for the political and the attaboy and the pat on the back for President Trump. It really isn't. It's because you need to hear this. This is this is the U.S. Marshals, okay? And U.S. Marshals, if you guys understand, we've been trying to get the U.S. Marshals in Sebastian Rogers' case for a significant amount of time. And at night, Creative Intelligence, at that time, got the U.S. Marshals. Oh, thank you, Panda Bear's mom. And I just heard it's your birthday. So happy birthday, Love Bug. I hope you're doing well. I really do. So you're hearing this, and to think that they have an actual effective department specific for children, finding kids. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know the U.S. Marshals has a completely separate department for just the search for children? And they have an effective way of finding kids. Did you guys know that? We're about to find that out. And to think that Sumner County would turn down a resource like this in one of the largest cases they have in their community doesn't sound like a man that's turning over every rock to find a child. And I'm going to keep saying that because I hope, and I want to start hearing, are you from Sumner County? If you're a Sumner County resident and you're here, and you're not going to be voting, I want you guys to tell me that you guys are from Sumner County, because I want to know that I'm making a difference here, because we're going to be coming in. We're coming in. I'm going to make sure by the time it's time to vote for a new sheriff that this sheriff's done. This sheriff's done. I don't play this crap. They picked on the wrong person. Like, I'm sure that these people, these hate channels going in there, like, we want to get Betty. They didn't realize what they had done. And they manipulated this community and actually thinking I was a nobody. They were going to find out very, very, very quickly that this nobody is a somebody. And I fight very, very, very hard. When I see shenanigans, I fight very, very hard to make sure the shenanigans is, one, exposed, and two, is changed. Right now, I'm having a hard time exposing, so the only way I'm going to be able to be effective in that community is literally being in that community. So we're going to be moving into this community at some point. And we're setting up small groups around Tennessee. We're taking control of law and order in that state, whether they like it or not. We're sick and tired of covering these cases. And if nobody's going to be talking about missing children, and nobody's going to be talking about what they can do to start resolving the crime, or again, Tennessee just changed child diddling from a misdemeanor to a felony, effective July 1st of 2025, a day late and a dollar short. We're saying no more. We're done. We're done. We've got too many cases that are unsolved in the state of Tennessee. Either shit or get off the pot. Because if you guys want to keep playing these games, America's going to stand up and speak up, because I'm moving into Tennessee. Some way, somehow, we're moving into Tennessee, and we're going to start affecting change in that state on a state level. It is going to take time, but I got nothing but time. This is my full-time job, okay? When I'm going to be standing out in front of that sheriff's office the next time, I'm going to remind them, I got no place to be. This is literally my full-time job. My full-time job is avocation for victims of crime. My full-time job is exposing corrupt politicians. I got nothing but time, baby. I'm a time and place chick. But you need to hear this, because this is what Sumner County has turned away in the Sebastian Rogers case.
And here's one of the reasons why. The number of arrests and the gun seized, all of that's been very impressive. But what surprised me and caught my attention was that 5 children were recovered. Like, that seems significant to me. How does that happen? Where were they? How do they get recovered?
So one child is significant, as you know, Dana. A missing child just destroys families. So when the Marshal Service core mission of finding missing children.
Core mission. U.S. Marshal Service core mission is finding missing children. Now, I want you guys to remember, Eric Craddock specifically, the Sheriff Snuggle Struggle, turned down this help. He doesn't want it, doesn't need it. Meanwhile, all the government officials are playing patty cake with the suspects in this case. Why is all these government officials have such strong contact with 2 people that have abused a child with plenty of recorded documentation? Who would want that kind of stigma around them? That is disgusting. It shows a level of corruption. It shows the haves and have-nots of the community. I don't play those games. I expose those games. And I believe that's the kind of racket we got going on in Sumner County. And they've been provided help. All they had to do was sign one document, one piece of paper. And I'm pretty sure that At Night Media, or At Night Intelligence, I'm pretty sure that they posted that photo of the page, the one single sheet that just needed one single signature on, to have this man right here deploy his people, because their core mission is to find children. If you have a missing child and you've been working on a case for 18 months and are no further than you were from day one, and you're offered this type of help, federal financed help, and you turn it down, do you know some of that federal help comes with products to that local government? Sometimes they need the government to go out and do something, so they send them the equipment, and that department gets to keep that equipment. Eric Craddock's like, no, we don't want any of it. No, we've got this. As they're playing patty cake with Chris and Katie. right? They turn down this kind of help. This should unnerve everybody, especially the people in this community, because your community has allowed you to undergo all of this speculation, scrutiny, turn your entire community upside down. You know who did this for you? Your sheriff's department, because they want to play games. So they've actually made all of their citizens victims of this game that they want to play with Chris and Katie. They're friends. They're friends. And it's up to you, the people, to make this right, because they won't.
It's very rewarding for us, and we get to start these families on the healing process.
Wow.
So we found 5, as you mentioned, some pretty significant cases. One in particular was a 15-year-old that had given birth to a child that was in intensive care. We're launching an investigation into the father of that child, which we believe is going to be a 27-year-old.
So they ain't playing. Can you imagine having this type of resource? Think about it. We all have had problems in our time. And you think about the parents. Like, we have some parents in here that have lost their children by self-harm, that lost their children from ODs, that have lost their children because of violence and murder. And we have some people that know what that is because they've watched families struggle through it. Now, many of those cases all started out with a missing person because somebody didn't find that person, or a health check at their home, a wellness check at their home, right? They've all started out that way. Can you imagine if you were sitting at home, you're a mom or a father in this community in Sumner County, Tennessee, and you have a missing child and you're begging for help, and law enforcement just stops working your case, stops going out there and searching, and then we're saying, okay, nobody's searching, nobody's doing this, maybe they need some help, maybe they need a little edge for the case. So you reach out to the FBI, you reach out to the U.S. Marshals, and see what kind of benefits that they can bring to the table. And they're saying, hey, we're willing to help. All Sumner County has to do is X, Y, Z. And you go to Sumner County, it's like, you guys had a lot of time with this case. Can we please just turn it over? And they're like, no. Okay, well, will you be willing to take this help? No. Are you any further than you were before? Fuck you. That's what Seth Rogers gets from Sumner County. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You just paid for that cuss word. Oh, good gracious. Thank you so much. Good morning, Pebbles, Sonia, all my mod squad, YouTuber, Chaos, Teresa. Oh, it's so nice to see you all. Big hugs and kisses, guys. I'm glad we were able to run a decent show. Okay, let's get back to this. We got a lot to cover, so just bear with me. I want to see if there's anything else. I can't remember. I feel like I went a little further than this on this interview.
For the children that are reported missing, that could be up to age 18, I imagine, across the United States, 29,568 missing children in 2024. The recovery rate is 91%, which is
huge. Okay, do you guys understand this? Look at that. The U.S. Marshals Recovery Service, 91% recovery rate. Let's make sure we understood what she just said. Let's go back. Just a few seconds. Let's listen to what she says. Let's listen.
The 27-year-old.
For the children that are reported missing, that could be up to age 18, I imagine, across the United States, 29,568 missing children in 2024. The recovery rate is 91%, which is obviously that
is an amazing recovery rate. I mean, granted, there's still 9% that we have to find. And where is the 9%? Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is part of that 9%. Summer Wells is part of that 9%. Orrin and Orson West are part of that 9%. There's 9% children that are still missing out there. That are still missing. But this is an amazing recovery rate. And why in the world would anybody turn down this type of help. Do you guys get it yet? Are you seeing it? We need to be making sure that you guys are sharing this. If you guys haven't, if you're in the Sumner County area and you're part of their Sumner County Facebook groups for Sumner County this and Sumner County that, you guys need to be plugging this stuff in. You guys need to be making sure, because your media out there is not doing you any service. They're sanitizing the truth. I can tell you, I've seen it myself. I've seen it over and over and over again over the last 18 months of them sanitizing the reality of what Eric Craddock is doing. They're doing a disservice to their community. You guys are responsible for getting that truth out there. And that's what we're going to be talking about when I start coming in to set up those small groups for 2026 and 2028, polls and voting. We are moving into Tennessee. We're moving into Tennessee and Kentucky. I've been there. I've put my feelers out, but everything, as far as the politicians that I wanted have been doing just fine. But since I'm going to be hitting back Bill Lee and Senator Marshall Blackburn so hard this year until we get them either whipped into shape or talking about the crime in the state of Tennessee, we're going to have to be pushing really, really, really hard to make some changes in there. And I can't rely on the groups that are in there right now because, again, I didn't have to bring the groups in to these two states because we've been okay. But now that I want McConnell out, now that I want Bill Lee out, now that I want true law and order in these communities, and I'm seeing a very dangerous practice going on in these communities, and that is the good old boy system. I haven't seen that in a while because we've been moving it out of Manatee County, but I'm seeing this in both of those states. Those two states, they have a lot of corruption in there at the highest level, and I've watched it. I've identified the areas. I've identified the worst of the corruption, and we've got to start moving people in because I'm done with this. There are a few leaders in this country that don't get paid for the leadership. I happen to be one of those people that go all over the country, not only for true crime, but for political purposes. And this is something that we need because they go hand in hand. You guys understand that, right? We can't do what we're doing. Of course I can come here and talk about these cases day in and day out, just like everybody else. But if we're not really fighting for change, what are we really doing here? What are we really doing here? We've got to make changes. We've got to be safe. I'm sick of covering these kid cases. I don't want to hear any more Quentin Simons or any more Emmanuel Harrows or Orrin and Orson West. I'm done covering these cases. They deserve to be safe. And by God, we're going to give all of our children in this country a fighting chance for survival. And it all takes all of us. And guess what? It also takes politics. So if you're not here for the long haul, you're just here for the stories. Thank you for the support of the stories, but we have a bigger mission than just talking about the cases. So there is that. But this is good recovery rate. Why Eric Craddock would turn this type of help down, you guys can figure it out yourself, but I think it starts with corruption and ends with corruption.
That's a very good recovery rate, but that means that there's still 9% that aren't. And so what are the tools that you have under the Trump administration to try to help find them?
So first and foremost is the backing, right? We have, law enforcement has unprecedented backing by this administration.
I just wanted to remind you guys, because they stripped your rights away from you. They made us less safe. They reduced penalties for violent crimes such as murder, rape, sexual assault, armed burglaries, armed robberies. This administration reduced the penalties, making us prey, while they have the backing to get this stuff done. And we have an idiot sheriff in Sumner County turning down this help.
And we're very grateful for that. As you know, we gifted the president a United States Marshal badge and a handcuff key so that he can continue to unhandcuff law enforcement.
We handed him a key so he can continue to uncuff law enforcement. Uncuff law enforcement. All right, guys, this was a preliminary hearing. We're not going to be able to discuss this preliminary hearing today. This was related to Austin Drummond. He's the one that's accused of committing the quadruple homicide in Tennessee, Lake County, Tennessee, a little bit further away. And but they have a hot mess express in Tennessee. You guys notice how many cases we have in Tennessee? Are there cases going around the other, around the country? Of course there are. But guess what? They're solving those cases at record numbers. They're putting the people behind bars. It's Tennessee that seems to have the hardest problem putting people behind bars and keeping them behind bars. Austin Drummond should have never been released to commit these crimes. But give it to the old state of Tennessee. Again, why I'm done with Bill Lee and Marsha Blackburn. They've been in office far too long to continue to have these problems. That's not leadership. That's bowing down and putting KY jelly on it. And, you guys get it. So we will be going over this case in length. Don't know, it's not going to be today. We're probably going to be picking up Austin Drummond when I get back to the office next week, and we'll go over this. I know a lot of people are probably going to go over this by then, but it's not me going over it. I break things down a little differently, in my opinion. I've got a little bit different experiences than others, so that's where we're at. But I really think he's done. He's done. He's getting DP unless he pleads out. I'm absolutely confident in that. He knows he's effed. He knows he is. Just in my opinion. I mean, you can kind of see it in his face. Here, let me see if I can roll it back. Some places they've got... There it is. Keep going. There. Okay. There we go.
Yes, sir. Any redirect, General? No, Deputy Brady, thank you, sir. You're releasing your subpoena.
You can see. He knows.
Free to go, free to stay, whichever you'd like to do, sir.
You can see it all over his face.
Your next witness, General.
So he's going to call Officer Brandon Wheeler.
He knows.
Wheeler.
He knows. I can tell you, just based on everything I saw in his face, he knows. He's done. He's done. The garbage excuse he gave them, he's done. He's done. So, what else do we have? This is one thing I'm just going to say. And this is just a tidbit of information to the powers that be. And I'm going to continue to say this and continue to say this. Politicians, law enforcement, attorneys, you do not want to pick a fight with social media. You just don't. Social media will turn you into their bish. Okay? They will. And they will paddle that little bootay. You do not want to fight. It's not worth the fight. It will ruin your reputation. It will destroy your abilities. You do not want to pick a fight with social media. Okay? I'm not saying you don't want to pick a fight with Bullhorn Betty. People picked fights with me. I'm not as, I'm a barbaric woman, but some people are a little more barbaric than me. Okay? I'm just saying. But let me also say that I will... Oh, Eric, April, Gypsy. Oh, you beautiful people. Good morning, all of you. Rod, Lisa B. Always, Alcoholic. It's nice to see you. Even attorneys, and I feel bad for Vincent Hughes because he really didn't do anything. But again, people are going to destroy. Why? Because this is avocation. This is the public pressure. We want everybody to have as much pressure on them as all get out because we're tired. And the more we bring embarrassment and shame and attention to a community, the more they want to prove that everything we say is inaccurate. And that's what we want, right? Because when they start trying to prove us wrong, we actually start getting things done. So we do become boils on these people's asses. And I can tell you, I make people climb walls. Eric Craddock hasn't had a dose of Bullhorn Betty. I'm a one-man show. When I move into Sumner County, which I'm moving into Sumner County, when I move into Sumner County, I'm going to be a one-man show. People want to come along. You guys won't know when it's going to happen until it happens. It's going to be much like Seth, but I'm a little more effective because I just don't give a shit. Okay? I'm not playing games. I'm not playing patty cake with a suspect. I'm not telling my entire county to be friends and communicate and give information and slide this over to Chris and Katie and slide that over to Chris and Katie. I'm not helping my friends. If my friends touch a kid, I'm the first one that's going to throw them under the bus and take their asses to jail. It's too bad that the respect of children in Tennessee is clearly not a priority. Their farmland's more of a priority than the children, than the next generation coming up-ins. So, when I'm hearing this from Marsha Blackburn and Bill Lee, which again, two politicians I have supported literally for years, I'm done. I'm part of the walk-away camp, okay? I'm part of the walk-away camp. If you can't get the freaking job done, then we're going to find somebody that can get the job done. Just like I'm telling Eric Craddock, if you can't get the job done, we're going to make sure we find somebody that can. We don't play with politicians. We're your bosses. You need to recognize we come like literally 83 million deep. If we need something, I've got resources to tap into. You bet your bottom dollar I do. But this right here is exactly why you don't want to mess with social media. This is Vincent Hughes. This is the first attorney for Jake Harrow. He was dealing with his gun charge and other things, and we've got him sucking his thumb in bed. Okay? This is an embarrassment. This is why you don't want to monkey F with social media. You want to play nice with social media because we have a way of embarrassing people. And when one person puts this out, then guess what? Somebody like me picks it up and posts it all over my channel. And right now we have almost 300 people in here, which is a small day on a Saturday. But we're running live a little earlier than we did. But we've already almost had 1,000 views so far this morning. And then there's going to be all the replay crew coming in here. And they're going to see Vincent Hughes with his thumb in his mouth like a baby. And we're going to read about how he's as abusive and likes to hit on his wife and children, much like Jake Harrow did. And why did this happen? Because he wanted to take a spotlight and he pissed off social media. So now he looks like a fish. Right? This is why you don't want to mess with social media. Just like Mike Hestrin is finding out, just like Chad Bianco is finding out. Chad Bianco tanked his frickin' run for governor, and now they're all pouting and hate social media. We didn't do that. You opened your mouth, you wanted to attack us, and you know what? We come from a place of power and in a position. We have a position here. We have a position. We are the old news, the media from back in the 80s and 90s. This is what we're sick and tired of being sanitized. So we are the paparazzi of the 70s to 90s, okay? You remember the good old news story, the cutthroat industry where people were fighting and crawling to get the story, get the release story, have the right information. That's what social media has created. We have real journalism again, not some sanitized version of journalism. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. We as the American people deserve more. But again, we're going to get into the Sebastian Rogers case, not so much the Emmanuel Harrow. We'll save that for a different day. There's some stuff coming out. Emmanuel hasn't been found yet. Law enforcement doesn't appear to be doing any type of ground searches or anything like that. That's what's leading me to believe that law enforcement out in Riverside believe this child's in the landfill because that's the only place that they would not be able to find this child at this point in time. Now, if they learned about this dump, they learned about the dumpsters, they learned about the trash can earlier into the case, I would have said their chances of finding something would be a lot higher, 85 to 90%, which is what I gave Quentin Simon. And people are like, oh no, it's not like that. I kept saying, if they keep digging, they will find what they need. I knew that without a doubt. Oh, and then we also have some breaking news and disturbing, upsetting news. The bones that they found, which is really weird because I had two stories. One was that it appeared that there was somebody that OD'd out there, and then I heard that there were some bones that they didn't know whether were male or human or not human. But we did finally get the testing back for Travis Decker, and it appears that they were not human bone. They were not human bone. So I don't know if there's other bones. Like I said, there was another case that I was hearing in the area, but I could have sworn I heard it from a news source. But with them telling me that the bones that they found were not human, I remember hearing that story first, but I could have sworn there was another story thereafter that said they also found another set. And I don't know if this is just a distraction or all of them. They don't believe any of these bones were human. So, but right now it does appear nothing has been resolved out there in Washington. So it appears that Travis Decker may truly be on the run, which I find just absolutely appalling. I don't know what else to say, because how can you do that to your children? How can you do that to your children? Okay, so now we're getting on here. I saw Auntie E in chat. So it's nice to see you. I really like the way you guys broke down some of this stuff related to this, statement from the FBI. And so I wanted people, I have a little clip here. It's like a 2-minute clip that I wanted you guys to hear, because this is, I kind of agree. Let's listen. And I backed this up to like 5320, but my statements don't really come until a minute in. But I wanted to get you guys some background information.
There's so many things there that they're wanting to. It's like they're painting this picture of how they handled the investigation.
I just keep wondering, did Auntie E, did she have those spidey senses? Did she know I was gonna be debuting her? It's so good to see you, love.
All these things, and I just feel like they're not focusing on the case, the true facts of the case.
Absolutely.
But just they're kind of filling us in with all this garbage. So we have all this information about this case, but none of it really gives you the meat and bones of what happened.
And Real Me Too says, my grandson has never wondered. Our son has never wondered. If he's eloped, it's been with purpose.
I'm sorry. They're in. I don't care. We've read the statement from law enforcement. They were off base since day one, and it proves that they were off base. And I keep wondering, why were they so off base? Was it because they failed to listen to the parents, or were the parents not telling them, look, you're off base? My child would not be in a pond. I don't care what your statistics say. Like, parents know. And sometimes you just have to say, look, why are you wasting your time in the pond? If you're worried about my son drowning, he would drown in a pool before he drowned in a pond. So why aren't you guys looking at the pools? My son does not like dirty water. He would not walk into dirty water. He would not walk onto the grass. He doesn't like bugs. Like, Chris and Katie have literally been telling us this entire time that this child never left the house, and why he would never leave the house. Because he doesn't like the dark, he doesn't like weird sounds, he doesn't like bugs, he can't handle it, and he's allergic to grass to boot. So there's no way he's walking out of that house without any of his money, any of his phones, any of his equipment, any of his personal belongings, including his shoes. There's just no possibility. And then we have law enforcement, through this FBI statement, literally putting a target on Katie's back. Everybody, like, I just saw the unscrupulous PI. He's over on things saying, oh yeah, they're trying to explain the video. I think they lied about the video. I don't like liars. And this is another thing, law enforcement. Don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. It's the worst thing you can do on social media. Don't poke the bear. And don't insult our intelligence. Because this is what they don't understand. Many of us have already seen the video. We know that those lights are moving. Literally moving. There's no moving object in there to make those move. The only way you could have a reflection... Listen, tell me I'm lying. If there's no light, if there's no moving light, you're not going to have, even if there was a glare, that glare would be stationary. It wouldn't be moving. The only way it would be moving if there was a light source moving. And they're saying nobody was moving. So where did the light source and the move go from? You can't, the only way you can do that is if there's some light source moving and it's picking up that and it makes the reflection move. But if there's no light source moving, and the reflection isn't moving, it would have been just a stationary dot. A stationary dot. You know how I know this? because I deal with cameras, angles, images, all that. I am a videographer, okay? If you look at my name badge, it says videographer on it, right? I'm a video journalist. That means I do best by recording and showing you. So I have to deal with lighting. I have to deal with glares. I have to deal with all of that. And I can tell you 100% there has never been a light that moved without a light source moving. So I don't like it when law enforcement plays us for a fool or tries to lie to us, because when we know we are right, we are going to prove we are right. Clearly, this is something they're trying to hide, right? They don't want us to know about this. That's why they keep lying about this. But every time they try to call us liars, we're going to prove we're not liars and they're the ones lying. My suggestion would be quit addressing it if you don't want it out there and you don't want people talking about it. Quit addressing it, or finally address it because it already is out there. But to keep lying and tell us it was a dump truck, and then now all of a sudden it's reflections off a headlight. You are full of crap. We know you're lying to us, and it just further puts distrust in our hearts. So now we're not going to take anything you say is true. So now, law enforcement is saying, oh my gosh, we just want you to say what we want you to say. Well, you've lied to us too many times for us to do that. Now you guys can kiss our white breaded ass, our red, white, and blue ass. And we're going to tell our story with what we see. Okay? We have people here that enhance videos as probably close next to NASA. And furthermore, why hasn't the FBI or Sumner County reached out to NASA to see if they can clear up some of these images? NASA would be the number one go-to for pixelation, dark images, and lifting those images so people can see what's behind all that blurriness. They have the technology. So if we're really serious about finding this child, and we have a lot of videos that are in the dark, and you haven't once reached out to NASA, my question is, why aren't you turning over every rock to find this child? Because we're not dumb here. This is our job, our full-time job. We've handled more cases, more violent crimes than Sumner County has probably in the last 20 years. That's pretty significant. We've covered more violent crimes than Sumner County has in the last 20 years. So let's listen to these statements.
And I think it's interesting the way this is being.
I mean, everybody's saying in the chat, narrative.
Yeah.
They're portraying a narrative. They are.
I don't know that it's necessarily from Barrett a bad thing. Okay, so what he says is, so he calls it's like I don't know why they're playing this game, that they want to pretend like this was not an abduction, violent, criminal act of some kind.
Right.
I don't know why that they keep.
Yeah, you don't
trying to gaslight the public on this. Sorry, we all know that this was a criminal investigation, but you don't call the child abduction rapid deployment team unless you think a child is needs the child abduction rapid deployment team.
Right.
You don't do that.
You just don't do it.
You don't do.
They're absolutely accurate. They're not calling in these resources unless they need them, and they're not going to supply those resources unless they're needed. FBI is going to look at it and say, this doesn't meet our criteria. I'm sorry. We didn't have that here, folks. We didn't have that here at all. So we have to, this is why I like Mr. and Mrs. E, Auntie E, the E team, right? The crime dogs. If you guys have not gone over there to sub up to their channel, if I don't have any of my subs on Nightbot, so if my our subs are additional content creators on Nightbot yet, so I apologize about that. So maybe one of my mods can put their channel. I'm pretty sure everybody that's in my chat right now knows them. They're great. They're amazing, and they're making their debut on TikTok as well. And they've been doing an amazing job on TikTok. So if you guys haven't been over TikTok and found them yet, please do. They're on TikTok now as well. You guys don't want to miss their content.
Do that for a kid that wandered into the woods. And I just looked up the behavioral analysis unit to see exactly what they are. Here's what they are. They are a department within the National Center for the Analysis of Violent Crime.
Wow.
That provides behavioral-based operational support for investigations into complex and violent crime.
Complex and violent crime. And then we have this FBI release, which was basically an interrogation of Sumner County and TBI, and they decided to put out a post with the FBI. I'm very, very thankful that the FBI is helping and assisting, but there's still something not right, and I haven't quite figured it out. I still feel like there's a buddy-buddy system, you know, somewhere in this dynamic between FBI, TBI, and Sumner County. And I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it at all. And I think we need Kash Patel. I don't care who's in Nashville. I don't care who's in Memphis. I don't care. I really still think that I want our people knowing about this case. And the only way we're going to let our people know about this case is by making sure it's done organically. So if you guys have an X account and you're not posting about the corruption in Sumner County with this case and attaching Dan Bongino, Donald J. Trump, Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, if you're not adding all of those people to that post, we're not effectively doing our job. So if you have X accounts, maybe we all need, now we're almost up to 400 people in this chat right now. If all 400 of us, got out there and did a post about the corruption in Sumner County and hit it to Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pete Hegseth, Marsha Blackburn, Bill Lee, President Donald J. Trump, his family, I throw the whole damn gamut in there. And be done. Like I'm not even putting in the local media in there because they suck. Okay, I can honestly tell you, local media is a freaking embarrassment in Sumner County. I'm embarrassed for them. Holly Thompson is she's not media. Neither is Nick Barris. Okay, they want to play nice and be friends with people. That's not freedom of the press. Okay, that's not a free press. A free press is telling it like it is without apologizing, finding the truth and telling your public whether it makes people look bad or not. But covering their asses, you get no respect from me. You're not a journalist. Okay? All you are is propaganda. That's all you are to me. Propaganda.
So they didn't come in here to give you the autistic child wanders off 50% of the time. They're found in water. They come in to investigate complex and violent crimes.
So it tells me here that law enforcement, the one thing that all of this is telling me here is law enforcement does not believe Chris and Katie. And they believe that this was a violent crime. I don't think Seth is going to agree with that, but everything that we're seeing that were brought in early is acknowledging that they believe in part, at least one of their major theories is a violent crime happened. Okay? This is new information for us. This was broke by Mr. and Mrs. E and Auntie E. Law enforcement does believe something violent could have happened. And everything that they deployed up until they cut off help appeared that they believed that there was a violent crime that happened inside that home, in my opinion.
of 5 specialized units, the BAU uses behavioral science and forensic psychology to create profiles of offenders and analyze crime scene data, assisting federal, state, and local law enforcement in solving cases involving terrorism, cybercrime, and crimes against children and adults. Does that sound like they're out here to teach you about autism?
Wow. Wow. And then we have the statement from At Night. The At Night statement is, pretty interesting. So we're going to start reading this. I'm going to read it out loud so you guys get all the information that's needed. This was released about 18 hours ago. I'm pretty sure many people have probably already covered this. I received this about the same time everybody else received this. But as you guys know, I was taking care of my mom. I'm still running between my mom and my best friend's house because she had oral surgery and she's not doing well from the oral surgery. She went back to the doctor yesterday and they couldn't do anything because her mouth is so swollen. Like, she's swollen. She can hardly talk. And it's just, I had no time yesterday. Like, I dropped probably about 12:43. I dropped for about an hour just to take a nap. I was so exhausted, and then when I got up, I had to get my mom situated, then head to my best friend's to check on her. And again, there's nothing I can really do for my best friend except just say, hey, I'm here, I love you. I'm going to be taking Delilah over there for a couple hours today because her grandkids have been asking for Delilah. So that's really it. But that's why I couldn't come live yesterday with this, and I didn't have my system set up either. I don't like just, it's hard to do a live without showing you guys what we're talking about, and it just makes it so much easier like this, right? At least for me, and I'm sure you guys appreciate it too. So At Night and Dog the Bounty Hunter calls for clarification from FBI on the Green Hoodie narrative in Sebastian Rogers' case. Many of you guys know that there was a connection between At Night and the owners of the Texas Roadhouse, that branch of the Texas Roadhouse, maybe the managers or something. I think they were the owners for some reason. But I digress. The wife is a major true crime person and had reached out to At Night and provided them the videos of that. Now, if this Green Hoodie person was a regular, then they would have told them at that time. But they didn't know who this person was, and this person didn't go in there and eat. This person went out and was crossing the walkway. We see them carrying on a 2-minute conversation with Cathy out in the parking lot, which is weird. And then we see the person going directly into the women's bathroom, using the women's bathroom, coming out and leaving. Not dining, not eating. And, at the end of the day, law enforcement, they didn't even check this person that had contact with Cathy. They don't care. They're not using their noggin. Like 101, shoe leather detective work 101 means you interview anybody and everybody that came in contact with the people in the time frame that you don't dismiss somebody because they're at a restaurant and say, well, they must be a patron. We don't need to ask them anything. Right? This child disappeared on February 26, 2024. And by December of 2024, they still had not interviewed anybody from the Texas Roadhouse. So let's not get it twisted. Let's get over here and I'll read this all to you. Let me be unmistakably clear. The FBI article misstates 2 material facts. It suggests Sebastian vanished this year when he disappeared in 2024, and it listed him as 14 and he was 15. If you can't get the year or the age right, you haven't mastered the case. You've compromised it. At Night applauds legitimate subject clearance and support law enforcement's efforts, said Cynthia Lee, Global Ownership Liaison and Senior Representative of Warn World, speaking on behalf of At Night Private Intelligence Agency. Our goal is narrow and constructive. Align the public narrative with Texas Roadhouse, contemporaneous venue facts, and corporate preservation steps so the community sees the same big picture Texas Roadhouse reported. Correct the year, correct the age, publish an addendum and own the error. So he kind of spanked them a little bit. Fort Worth, Texas, September 5th, at-night private intelligence agency respectfully requests a narrow, evidence-based clarification from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and federal partners regarding public statements about the person in the green hoodie. Observed the evening Sebastian dined at the Texas Roadhouse in Hendersonville. We support legitimate subject clearance. However, we request that the new public recap align with Texas Roadhouse contemporaneous report, which was issued December 8, 2024, and the preservation steps taken by Texas Roadhouse Support Center, which is their corporate office. This alignment will enable the community to distinguish rumor from fact and maintain focus on locating Sebastian. FBI September 4th, 2025 article states that the restaurant employees confirmed the person in the green hoodie was a frequent customer, helped identify the individual, and that law enforcement met the person reported wearing the same hoodie and confirmed they were not a suspect. According to Texas Roadhouse Hendersonville, exterior and interior video footage revealed that the individual in the green hoodie was present earlier near the vehicle than the widely circulated crossing moment. Subsequently, they entered immediately after the mother and son exited the establishment. The individual proceeded to walk around the bar and go directly to the ladies' room without making any purchases. They exited the restroom within minutes, following the same path they had entered. Texas Roadhouse identified that sequence at atypical for a busy Sunday evening, as patrons typically do not enter the establishment solely to use the restroom and depart. Texas Roadhouse further reported that the individual entered the ladies' restroom and, based on observed behavior, was likely a female. The venue-specific details inform Texas Roadhouse understanding of the scene that evening and remains relevant to any accurate reconstruction of events. Texas Roadhouse also reported that on or about December 8, 2024, it called the listed case detective back within roughly 30 minutes, left a voicemail as directed, and never received a return call back. So representatives from the Texas Roadhouse had been trying to get a hold of law enforcement as late as December 8th with no contact back. Doesn't sound like Sumner County is turning over every rock. As a matter of fact, it sounds like they're quelching any type of help and any type of actual evidence. We've heard that in the past. We're hearing it and seeing it to this day. As documented in the same conversation, a team member told Texas Roadhouse, "You're the fifth person I've heard with the same experience," while another added, he should have been their first priority. This is the place. Texas Roadhouse was additionally told of a phone tree retired email box runaround. This is where people were called and said, "Are you calling for this case? Well, push this. And then it went to a lady that had retired 2 years previously. So they set up a bunk voicemail for leads. Sumner County Sheriff did. Unbelievable. Just to reach a detective's voicemail with practical takeaway that one must be very persistent. So you have to be persistent to get your lead sent to the Sumner County Sheriff. So why such a fight to provide them information that they're requesting? Texas Roadhouse response is plain. I don't have the time to play that game. I deal with people, not phone trees. Since those calls weren't returned, Dog the Bounty Hunter and his team assisted in ensuring that the big picture was properly conveyed. So they were literally quelching this information about the Texas Roadhouse. It wasn't until Dog's team got involved and took the videos before they started taking this seriously. This is how incompetent this entire police department is, and TBI for that matter, because TBI had the biggest help toward Sumner County. They were the biggest help in Sebastian Rogers' case, allegedly, and they were also involved with Summer Wells' case. So I have no real confidence that when TBI, it's like, oh, TBI's coming in. So what? What have they ever accomplished? I mean, they find missing people all the time. But what about the people that aren't missing? What about the people that are deceased? They have a horrible track record. Horrible track record. So people saying, oh my gosh, TBI's coming in. So what? When I get good results from TBI, I'll actually be happy. But I haven't seen any good results from TBI. Hobo's Life gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Hobo's Life thank you. Looks like Lori Lynn received it. So Lori Lynn, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Welcome aboard. Wish I had my buttons, but I don't. So separately, the Texas Roadhouse Support Center corporate was instructed to record and preserve all pertinent footage from the date in question. At that time, Texas Roadhouse reported that it was uncertain whether local or state authorities had subpoenaed the support center for these materials. This preservation step emphasizes that a comprehensive and synchronized review of the exterior and interior angles, the earlier approach to the vehicle, the crossing moment, the immediate entry, the path to the ladies' room, and the swift exit remains crucial in resolving an outstanding uncertainty regarding the green hoodie sequence, and in preserving partial clips from influencing public perception. Current public narrative suggests that the employees identified a frequent customer, and law enforcement subsequently located and cleared the individual. At Night does not dispute that outcome. If law enforcement rightfully cleared the individual, that is beneficial for the case. However, clarification is required regarding the documented basis of frequent customer claim and how it aligns with the Texas Roadhouse records provided above. Specifically, we requested identification of the individual who made the frequent customer identification, the date and manner in which it was made, confirmation that the investigators reviewed and logged the interior path, ladies' room exit, and no purchase quick exit pattern, and an explanation of how Texas Roadhouse unreturned calls on or about December 8th reconciled with the assertion that employees provided the pivotal customer identification. Clarification on these specific points will enhance public confidence without compromising the investigation, and I have to believe that. And this is because they've got all of this. They've spoken to the people. Okay, guys, like they've spoken to the people from this thing. They've spoken to them. They got them on record. And it's different from what the FBI is putting out. You guys understand that? It's different than what the FBI is putting out. And these come from the people inside the Texas Roadhouse that gave Dog the Bounty Hunter and At Night Private Intelligence the videos. This doesn't make sense. Something isn't right. And I don't see At Night or Dog making this stuff up, because they were the ones that pushed that green hoodie person. Like, why haven't you looked at this? It looks like something was handed off to Cathy. It looks like something went on there at the car right before they removed. And then we go inside and we see Cathy just looking around for somebody. It appears like she's looking to see if, somebody's, just weird stuff. Like she was looking for somebody that should have been there. Who was that person? And then she has a conversation with somebody for almost 2 minutes out by her vehicle, and we're told that this is a normal person that comes in all the time, yet they went straight to the bathroom and left? Now, could the place have just been that busy? What was the wait times that night? Maybe we're not asking all the questions we need to be asking. Because if the wait time was only 15 to 20 minutes, I don't see how a regular would choose not to dine there for a 10 or 15 minute wait. Or even a 20-minute wait for that matter. Pixie says, looking for the fly on the wall. Yeah. Yeah. In my opinion, if there's anything at all to this green hoodie person, it's Texana. Well, she lives in Texas, hardly a regular at that restaurant. But these people are weird. All these people on these hate channels, they're messed up. They've got mommy daddy problems, drug problems, substance abuse problems, laying their hands on their children problems. Like they've got, let me go, state and Department of Children and Family Services. Most of these hate channels have had one or two of their children taken from them during they're not good people. Okay, I'm not getting my news. I'm not supporting a channel that likes beating on kids or putting them through this type of a lifestyle where they're going to end up repeating, and we're going to have to end up throwing them in jail at some point. Most of the parents, I expect these parents, these hate channels like GW, BBQ, QB, I expect all their children to end up being in jail at some point in the future. Every last one of them. I do. Because their parents have totally screwed their lives up. And I truly do believe that. And we're going to find drugged out kids because their parents are drugged out. We're going to have felon kids because their parents are felons. It's just a repetitive cycle. It's a repetitive cycle. And people are literally going to their channels and supporting them financially to cause all this pain in their children's lives. And it's disgusting. And all they're doing is either booting or smoking it up. I mean, it's disgusting. And people are like, oh no, they wouldn't do that. But hey, let's look at BJ. Oh, she's the bad guy. Yeah, okay. Let's take the glass pipe out of your mouth first, babe. How do you feel about Bobby, Chris, Katie's neighbor? If you're talking about Miss Bobby, I think she brought a lot of information. She knows a lot. She knows a lot. She knows a lot. Actually, to be honest with you, with Miss Bobby, if she is watching in the bushes or somebody knows her personally, I think she needs to reach out to the neighbors that had all those video cameras, and she needs to have them turn those over to the FBI. Because it's my understanding that everybody turned those over to Sumner County, but the FBI needs them. Sumner County's not helping. Okay, Sumner County's protecting Chris and Katie. They're friends with them. The whole county's friends with them. Their family has put millions and millions of dollars in the county's pocket. I don't trust Eric Craddock. I actually am going to be making sure he does not. He's not a sheriff, and he has no idea what I'm capable of lawfully and legally. I do everything above board, and when I'm coming after you, I make sure it's public because I feel it's my duty to let you know that I'm coming to unseat you, right? I'm not putting myself in that position, but I'm going to find somebody that's going to do a better job. So I always make sure that everybody, I like a fair playing field, I like a fair playing field. And so I always let them, even Carol Whitmore and Misty Servia, I let them know when I was coming after them, and they laughed at me. And I just remember looking at them with a smile on my face, and I said, thank you for that. And I remember walking away from the podium. It's all recorded. It's all in public record. You guys can go see it. I told them multiple times, I'm coming after your job. They laughed at me, try to say, somebody with your background would never be able to be a Okay, baby. Okay, baby. You underestimated this old gal. And I think more people like me need to be in Sumner County. And you guys need to be standing up and saying, this is not the kind of policing we want, right? And you guys need to be standing up and saying, we're coming after your job. If this is the crap we're getting out of you, we don't want it. We made a mistake when we hired you, and it's time for us to fix our mistake. The more of you guys coming together in solidarity in that community and saying that, you will be amazed about how it'll start turning around, because they know the gig's up. They know the gig's up. I would say Seth for sheriff, but Seth has no desire to move into the community, So that's an unattainable, he's got the background, but he doesn't have the residency. So him ever becoming sheriff in Sumner County, it's not going to happen. We need to find somebody that's there that's not a swamp creature, and we need to start putting our support behind that person. The person can't be part of the good old boys. We need to break the stigma up, because see, this is the problem they have. They have it in their mind, if they're part of this club, that they can withstand the public. The problem is I know how to work the public, and the public will withstand any type of good old boys club, because they come in masses. And once you show them how much damage they're causing because of this practice, it's very easy flip for the community. It's just getting in there, showing them the problems, letting them know that they deserve better, showing that there is a better way, right? Aw, thank you, Hobo's Life. I think it might have just popped up. Actually, that's what I think. We're a little behind the ball. So, Hobo's Life, there it is. Gen X Teresa, it's nice to see you. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Right? The Insane Asylum. I've got one more, and I think it's the same thing I'm showing here. This was on, this was on where people were saying, so they had this interview, they put this in here, this is theirs. This is for public dissemination. You can see that they had to go through approval within at night private intelligence to get approval for the redactions and the release of this information because it contradicts what law enforcement and the FBI statements is saying to us. And it's just, it's frustrating. This is, I don't understand how TBI is not stepping up and helping Sumner County get this case back on track. They just don't care. They just don't. This is what I mean, they do, but they don't, right? They're overworked, underpaid, just like everybody else. Tennessee obviously isn't supporting their law enforcement because if they were, they'd have better training than constantly arresting sober drivers. That right there tells me they have shit training. And that is an embarrassment. And it's widespread. It's all over the state of Tennessee. It's not just Sumner County. They have piss poor training. They have piss poor training. Every officer in that state, from the top down, needs retraining. Nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to address the problems. Not Bill Lee, not Marsha Blackburn, not the FBI, not TBI, and damn sure not the county sheriffs, because they want to keep thinking and making everybody believe there's no problems in Tennessee, right? That they're doing such a great job, that they've got low crime, they're tough on crime. I call BS. I'm coming after my own people here. I'm going to be, praying mantis? Because I'm gobbling my own people's heads off. Okay? Because I'm going after Bill Lee, I'm going after Senator Marsha Blackburn, and I don't give a shit if it affects me with the front row Joes or anything like that, because children are a little more important than some patch on my shirt. Okay? They get no protection by me when they're allowing this lawlessness going on, and they're literally allowing the corruption to breed. I'm not going to stand by. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. You can kiss my red, white, and blue ass. Right? That's what I'm going to start saying. You can kiss my red, white, and blue ass. You either start talking about the crime like President Trump is doing and his team, because they're getting it. Because we ain't voting for anybody that is not talking about our children and is not talking about our crime. And when I got two politicians that I highly respect wanting to talk about farmland and only farmland and how they're going to get the Chinese, you're missing the boat, babes, and I'm not supporting it. You're missing the boat, and I'm not supporting it. And we need to be that way everywhere in Tennessee. I know that I have people all over the state of Tennessee that watch me. Some people from the East Coast to the West Coast of Tennessee. Okay? I know that. This is something that's widespread throughout Tennessee. So I'm speaking to you. If you are a state of Tennessee resident, we need to do better. Okay? If you're interested in how we can do better, please let me know where you're at, because we are going to be setting up small groups all over the state. And if your heart is in the right place, and I give you a path for success, you can take the reins in your community. I will always be here. We can have roundtable discussions, weekly meetings. We can do whatever we need to progress our stuff. And our stuff is law and order. Our stuff is protecting the children. And our stuff is bringing the missing children that are most likely deceased home. And putting their parents that have just putting their parents behind bars. Because most of them are parents or people watching them. We are no longer willing to accept this bullshit. We're no longer going to eat it like it's pie. We're fixing the problem, and it's going to be hell to pay to get it for us too, right? We're going to lose a lot. We're going to win a lot. We're going to keep fighting. It's an uphill battle. It's a lot of thankless work, but something has got to be done in the state of Tennessee. We have an opportunity for 2026, and we have an opportunity in 2028. This is our time to strike. This is our time to get the state of Tennessee fixed up. This is the time that we can tell everybody in the state of Tennessee, the Tennesseans are no longer playing. We want our children safe. And nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to stop us from succeeding on that front. But it's going to take all of us. It's going to take right, left, and in the middle to get it done. So this is why I say, don't be attacking. I know you guys don't always like what I'm saying, but we're all in the same boat. And this is the dynamic we have. Now, if this was on the other shoe, and we were dealing with we'd still have to do the same thing. We'd still have to come together for the sake of our children, right? So that's what I'm hoping that we can all do here, because I'm fighting with you, and I'm saying that, you know what? Obviously, Bill Lee and Marsha Blackburn are missing the mark. I was very hopeful with Marsha. You guys know that. But now that I see, I can't unsee. She ain't the one. Okay? And so we're not going to be supporting, and you know, she can turn this around for us. She can turn this around for us. I mean, she's not completely out. Bill Lee is out. He's been in office entirely too long, and we got this shit show. He's done. We need to get him out. But who's going to replace him? If we don't start hearing law and order, and we don't start hearing about our children, the politician that does, and I don't care which one it is, the politician that does start talking about our children and the crime in Tennessee, that's the one that's going to start getting our attention. Because we have a goal. I don't care about the farmland. I know that that's, you know, the drumbeat of this administration and stuff like that with the Chinese. I get it. I understand how important it is. But to me, there's nothing more important than our children. There's nothing more important than our babies. They take precedent over farmland. They take precedent. So we're not going to give up our position in the state of Tennessee for these children and victims of crime. We're going to exploit it, and we're going to apply pressure to these politicians and hold their feet to the fire until we get something out of them. And what do we want out of them? We want tougher laws. We want committees, right? We want something for Summer Wells, and we want something for Sebastian Rogers. We want task force. We want a task force designated to Summer Wells, and we want a task force designated to Sebastian Rogers. We also need, you know, in light of Layla Santinello and Holland Snap, we also need drug rehab centers and beds in Sullivan County. We need a good rehab program, facilities to help people start sobering up in the state of Tennessee. You know, we need things in Tennessee, and trust me, none of it has crap to do with a flippin' farmland. These are real life people, real life citizens. Their lives are ruined, and we have to help them. And whether Chinese own farmlands or not, it's not moving the needle in this arena. So we have to make sure that our politicians in Tennessee and other states, if you're seeing the same thing that we're dealing with in Tennessee going on in your state, let me know. We can start putting in small groups in your state too, right? We can do whatever we need to do. Look, this is just a Saturday morning, and it's not even 10:30. Most people are still in bed. We have almost 400 people here. You guys know on a good day in this chat, we can get a good 2,000, 2,500 people. Can you imagine if we had a good, cool 2,000, 2,500 people out there making their politicians speak about crime, how much we need laws and changes? I think things would get done, but it takes a whole lot of us. And it takes a whole lot of us constantly applying the pressure. Constantly applying the pressure. But the reason why we're talking about this today is because Sebastian matters. And I'm sick of being lied to. You know what? I'd rather them just not say anything than be lied to. Because it creates the distrust. Aw, thank you, Hobo's Life. Hobo Life says, Marsha Blackburn's running against Bill Lee for governor. Hatfield, McCoy, and Hendersonville looking for Sebastian. Would like to speak to Seth. I'm in Tennessee. Thank you for all you do. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, there's Sweet Misery. Hey, my love. I hope you're doing well, love. 19 months. You look gorgeous. I love seeing her little picture. Aw. Big hugs and kisses. So they're in there. This is what I can tell you, Hobo's Life, and this is up to them. I'm not giving them, obviously Seth's contact information, but they can do one of two things. They're more than welcome to email me their contact information. I'm not going to store it or anything like that. They'll just have to trust me on that. I've got no reason to lie. But if they want to send me, if they trust me enough to send me their contact information, I'm happy to make sure that Seth gets it. I can't make sure that Seth calls them, but I can definitely, but I know if anybody's out there to help, he's going to speak to them because his common goal is to find his son. And if somebody's out there looking for his son, he's willing to speak to them. I know that. So that's all I can offer. For, if somebody's out there and would like to see, I mean, I'm sure just by having this up, Seth, if he's not watching live right now, he'll be doing a replay and he will see this. So there is that. But if they want to make sure that their information, I can definitely promise, I have their contact information. Please get their information, please get their permission before you send it to me. Okay, and explain to them that, I don't want it for myself. I'm not storing it in any way, and I'll delete it. But if they would like to it over to Seth, I will make sure it gets in his hand. That's what I can give you my word for that. But I would like, you getting their permission before you send it to me. But once they give you permission, I will make sure he gets it in his hand. So, and thank you for putting Sebastian out there. I do appreciate whatever. If you're out there, Hobo's Life, bless you for that. If they're out there, bless them for that. I pray to God. You know what? I'm sorry, but my go-to, and I'm going to say it just like this. I believe Sebastian probably has been moved multiple times since this situation, but I've always wanted to know behind the Enoch property. There's that big, vast land, wooded area, big, huge, it looks like maybe like a septic type of system, maybe for their community. Their sewage treatment center is back there. But that's awfully convenient and awfully close. And trust me, somebody in construction would know exactly how to get into something like that, because I'm from construction and I know how to get into something like that. It's something I identified early on in the case as a place that I wanted to search. But you know what? The Proudfoots and the Bowersox lied under oath to prevent me from searching for their child. And we all know that they don't want their child found. They want everybody to go away. They want to act like they're the victims, but don't really want to do anything. Aw, thank you. I support the fight for justice for these children. Keep fighting, Betty. Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, we will. We are going to. We got no choice, Let's face it. Every time we cover these cases, it destroys us, right? A little piece of humanity is robbed of each person watching it, because we get so angry at humanity at times, because we're covering all this day. And I don't know about you, but I don't, I'd rather have a cooking show, I'd rather have a cooking show and talk about, cold cases. Honestly, let's be honest. Do we have a troll? Where's my troll video? Did I accidentally lose my troll video? Hold on, we'll have to add it. Hold on. Video, device capture, VCL source. Hold on, I gotta figure out where. Browser, I think it's video source. Nope, it can't be, because I got no. What is that? Hold on, let me read what I got here. Media source, that's what it is. That's what it is. I didn't have Whack-A-Troll in Sebastian's. There we go. Is it echoing? Turning trolls into what they're not. Somebody said troll, so I didn't have... We have different scenes, so I have the troll on this scene, but not this scene. So we had to add it to there. So now we have it on Sebastian's scene as well. So we have a breaking news scene and a Lily and Jack scene, and this is Lily and Jack's right here. I'm pretty big. My face is freaking huge. We'll have to do something about that. Hey guys, it's nice to see you. Yes, I am glowing because I've actually had some sleep. I'm going makeup free today. Just saying. Not playing. But you guys would love to see my beautiful eyes. God, I'm so arrogant. She conceited or what? Alright guys, we played enough. So there's some information. You guys are going to have to take what you believe, but we have got to do something. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing our politicians talk about farmland. If I hear farmland one more time out of the state of Tennessee, I think I'm going to need a trip to the insane asylum. I really am. Because I'm like, you guys are missing the freaking boat. What's wrong with you people? What is wrong with you people? You know? What is stinking wrong with you people? God, just thank you guys. Thank you. You guys are too. You guys are too. But Delilah's been she's been really weird, but oh my God, she tried to jump on my mom, like she hit my mom's shoulder. I'm like, no! You know, cause she knows something's going on, but she just wants to, you know, Delilah wants to help. Well, help. And I'm like, you know, because I'm so scared. Like, I think my mom's like China or something. I feel like one little wrong move, she's going to get a chip. Like, is it too much? Like, I want to put my mom in a bubble. Okay, you remember Bubble Boy? You guys remember Bubble Boy? That stupid movie, Bubble Boy? Like, I want my mommy in a bubble. Then I'll feel comfortable. Just need to put mom in a bubble. Dogs know. Yeah, they do. I'm late, but I'm here. Oh, Queen of Hypes. I'm sorry. We're closing out. You guys you get to watch the replay crew. John Travolta. Yeah. Sometimes Little Orange Man. Sometimes I'm a good daughter. I just want to take care of my mom. That's all. I just want to make sure she's taken care of. And I have had an amazing menu this week. And I made the chicken soup yesterday, and because I'm making a big pot of beef stew today. So I went ahead and took the chicken, because we have a lot of chicken this week. You know, I've got chicken sandwiches, grilled chicken salad, and chicken salad sandwiches. It's a lot of chicken. So I went ahead and put the soup away. And so today's chicken sandwiches and beef stew. I've already cut up the beef stew meat and everything like that. It's been marinating, so I'm kind of excited about the food for today. And come tomorrow, that's when the real work starts beginning, because it's been 72 hours after Mom's had the surgery, and she's got to start doing some exercises with her, you know, light exercises, just like, you know, shoulder rolls. Aw, thank you, Beverly. Thank you. I can look at Caden Moses' case. Can you look at Caden Moses' case? I can, but you're going to have to bring it, send some information to me, because I'm not going to remember it by the time I close this out. So you can send me an email with some preliminary stuff, and I can showcase it right now. My caseload is pretty full because several of our cases still haven't closed out yet. So we still have Austin Drummond. We still have Travis Decker. We're still dealing with Jack and Lily Sullivan. We're dealing with Andrew James McGann, the Devil's Den guy. We've got, you know, Sebastian Rogers' case. So me being able to take a deep dive into any case right now, even Devil and Tate, has been very, very difficult. So we've been trying to piecemeal it. But I'm happy if you can give me some of those things. We can do like 5 minutes about of a show every morning and showcase these people, so people can have some type of information on where they are. We literally have people from all over the country and all over the world that come into our chat. So, we may not be able to take a deep dive into it right now like we are with Sebastian's case, but we can definitely advocate for it. So if you like, the Real Me Too just put my email address right there. So if you guys would like to send me that stuff, I'm happy to debut it. Most of the time how I do it is all the emails. I haven't been able, like Lisa sent me a whole bunch of screenshots from a show that they were doing where Dog was actually writing in. And those have been brought up here, and I'll read those to you. I didn't want to dox her, so I wasn't planning ever putting this up. But these are some of the statements made, and I don't know whose show it was on, but it's from Dog the Bounty Hunter. It says, Katie's mom is the only one who hasn't called back. Her and Chris Carr. So it sounds like, Dog's team has been trying to get a hold of these people and ask them questions. So that Chris guy, the officer that lives behind him, again, good old boys club, Chris Carr, you don't want to play with Bullhorn Betty, and you don't want to play with Dog the Bounty Hunter. We will ruin whatever retirement you have. Please speak up, because we're going to be diving in soon. And once I start moving into Tennessee, I'm going to start asking for record requests. You are a law enforcement officer. I'm going to start pulling all your files. Just cooperate. Cooperate with law enforcement. Cooperate with the FBI. But I find it awfully weird that they're the ones that hold the cameras for their backyard, and they're not speaking to anybody. If Chris Carr has any type of cameras, I'm going to ask him to turn it over to the FBI. If he doesn't want to turn it over to the FBI, then he's trying to hide some information for the benefit of Chris and Katie, and I'm going to say it just like that. There's going to be no mistake of what Bullhorn Betty. I'm going to be working with law enforcement. When I come into that state or into that community, I don't really care what law enforcement says, but I am still going to let them know what's going on so they can stay safe and I can stay safe. And I just want to remind them I have civil and constitutional rights in that county, and if you ever violate them again, not only will I file an immediate injunction against you, if you put one freaking hand on me when I'm not violating the law, I'm going to put whatever officer down. Okay? Take it for what you want. You have no business putting your flippin', dirty, grummy hands on Bullhorn Betty when I'm not breaking the law. Don't touch me again. Don't touch me again. You have no business to touch me. You need me to go somewhere, I'm happy to go. You ask nicely. But you do not put your hands on me when I'm not breaking the law. Because the only person harassing and assaulting anybody would be that officer. And I'm not going to be assaulted by your officers ever again. I will file a protective order against law enforcement if I have to. But don't think that whatever is not in my realm. Do not put your hands on me when I come into that county. I come in lawfully and legally, as you are well aware now. Take it for what you will. The mayor was in Katie's kitchen. That's coming from Dog's team. So why is the mayor in this kitchen with Katie Proudfoot? Andy Gilley owns the festival and directs parks. So why in the world are Chris and Katie affiliated and associated with Andy Gilley for this event? Seems very corrupt to me. Seems like a lot of people know people. Why'd the cops beg me to put Green Hoodie out to blast me after? So it sounds like law enforement asked Dog's team to put the Green Hoodie stuff out. I've never had cops trick me until now. Wow. I'm going to release the text with the cops to show them how important communication is. Carter said, I can't find the lady bra. I don't see why Dog would be lying about this stuff. I know you guys aren't seeing it on your screen, but it's because I don't want to dox people. The other one was from Hindsight. It says, at Lady, allegedly their conversation with Green Hoodie was on body camera, but they never showed Seth the face. Seth wants to know who the lady was that was talking to his ex-wife. And they will not show him. So people can do whatever they need to do, but I'm going to be going into Sumner County. There's no mistake of that. It's not like we're sneaking in. I'm not playing those games. I'm not playing with Sumner County. I'm not playing with Sheriff Snuggle Struggle. I'm coming from a place of strength. I'm coming from a place that knows my rights, and I'm coming from a place, you mess with me, you're going to be paying the ultimate consequences, not me, because I've now got attorneys in the state of Tennessee that are willing to act like that. And if I need to put injunctions or protective orders against law enforcement, I plan on doing just that. You will not touch me again. I will tell you that right now. You will not touch me again. And if you touch me next time, we're going to be taking taxpayer funds, because I will definitely sue Sumner County without a doubt. And I'm going to go after them for as much as I possibly can. And you know who's going to ultimately be paying Bullhorn Betty's bill? The taxpayers of Sumner County. And when you get sick and tired of paying Bullhorn Betty's money, then maybe you'll fire the politicians that put you out like that. But don't mince my words. I am not coming in there for a pissing contest with law enforcement, but you step on my toes again, you violate my rights, my civil rights, and my constitutional rights, you don't know what you're about to kick over. But you will kick over a beehive. And I promise you, it's gonna sting. You hear that, Sumner County? I promise you, it will sting. I'm not playing. I'm not playing anymore. So there you guys have it. We are going to be back into Sumner County. We're going to be back into Sumner County in 2026. We are planning on doing, I'll go out there sooner if I need to. We do plan on having, on a 2-year anniversary, there is our milestone. We don't call these things the anniversary. That sounds like it's a good thing when it's not. We're going to be back there for the 2-year, so you guys already know. If you guys, we need to go big or go home. We were going to do this at the governor's mansion. I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm interested in, since the feds won't take this case over, I'm interested in forcing Sumner County's hand. We're going to line the streets up for the 2-year milestone. If you guys want signs, whatever, you guys got plenty of time to save the money, take off work. There's no reason why we should not have 200 to 300 people out in that road. There's no reason why. We've got, it's September. So we have October, November, December, and January. You got 4 months to figure out what you guys are going to do. 4 months. There's no excuse why we can't have you can go ahead and request the time off today. Take several days. And you guys got plenty of time to put $20 or $30 aside every week up until that point to pay for your trip. If you guys want to, we can set up maybe a website where we can get people, women and women together, and maybe you guys can rent a hotel and split the cost, right? You can typically get 2 queens in a room for like $100. It's $50 a night. That's a steal of a deal. That's a steal of a deal. So if you guys know somebody, whatever, we're going in. Okay? We're going in. We're going in unafraid. We're going to raise our voices. We're going to put it all out there. We're going to talk to the community. We're not going to rely on the mainstream media. We're going to make sure we have signs of where they can tune into to hear our message. We're going to make sure the entire community knows what is going on and how corrupt their county is. I told them not to play with me. They wanted to play with me. Now we played nice for a year. They pushed things off as long as they can. Well, now it's time to pay the piper. Okay? Now it's time to pay the piper. We're coming in. So Sumner County, we're coming in. You don't want to do the job? We're coming in. We're not going to be afraid. We will follow your laws. But do not mess with me again. You keep your fucking hands off me. All right, guys, rock it out with your rock it out with... Sorry, I'm a little antsy today. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. I want to tell you guys, thank you for the overwhelming support. I would not be able to do what I do without all of you. I have confidence, which gives us a place. We come from a place of power. When we know our rights, when we know what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do, we are liberated from Sumner County I'm going in there to liberate others, because the crap that they've been dosed with, that's nothing that they want to buy. It is harmful to that community. It is harmful to every person that visits that community, and clearly we have a problem with our children in the state of Tennessee. So we're not even in a family-friendly environment anymore. We're in a toxic, drug-filled, abusive state that needs law and order. And we're going to make sure that law and order is exactly what they get across the state. We are not going to be apologetic. We're not going to back down. We know what we want. If we don't hear the politicians saying what we want, you are fired. End of subject. Zero tolerance. Zero tolerance. All right, you guys take care, and we'll see you soon.